NFL honors a week from Thursday. The MVP and all the other major NFL awards will be announced. But one of the most important positions in football, rarely ever honored, that would be the offensive lineman. And Bills offensive lineman Dion Dawkins has a pretty good point.
It's an honor because awards are super cool, and like linemen don't get awards. Like there's no, like I can never be a runner-up for MVP, right? And that's because of how it is. Like there's linemen that are just as good. Like Trent had some crazy seasons where he was the best player in the NFL, and he has no trophies. And if your quarterback gets it, it just makes you feel some type of like, cool. I'm the best left tackle, and I feel like Josh getting that crowns, greatness all around.
Yeah, his quarterback, Josh Allen, the favorite to win the MVP award. Lamar Jackson right there as well. These are the current NFL awards, and you see nothing for offensive linemen, and they rarely register any votes for player of the year or rookie of the year, comeback player of the year. Even an assistant coach gets an award, but not the offensive lineman. So former All-Pro offensive lineman Kyle Long and former Coral Springs offensive lineman of the year 1978, Pete Prisco, with our inaugural CBS Sports offensive lineman of the year nominees.
What number did you wear?
61.
61.
And you know what? I'm the best offensive lineman ever to come out of my school. You know how I know that?
Because they canceled the program after your senior year?
Because I was ahead of Steve Hutchinson.
Oh, wow.
He was the best tackle. I'm the best guard.
Well, I think Dion Dawkins brings up a great point, Pete. And, we are a group of folks as the offensive linemen that have been described as the mushroom club. Just throw them in the closet, shut the light off, and we'll figure it out. But now with Dion Dawkins getting at the podium and bringing some light to this, I think it's really important. So we got a couple guys we want to cover. You want to start this list off?
By the way, I've covered the league for a long time, and the offensive linemen have been the best to deal with in any locker room. Always. They're so up front. They give you crap. They're insightful. They're smart. So this is like an honor for me to be able to help us give out this award.
Let me preface this one time by saying it's the largest group of humans on the football field in number and in size. There's 5 of us on the field all the time. And the one thing you know about an offensive lineman is they don't want any credit. They don't want people looking at them. Because usually if they're looking at them, it's the red laser in the team meeting on Monday saying, what the hell are you doing with your hands? You got your quarterback killed here. Well, we can give some credit to some offensive linemen here. So, Pete, without further ado, let's get this list started.
Let's go to one of the nominees. The first nominee is Dion Dawkins.
Yep.
Look, the Bills they allowed the fewest sacks in the league, tied for the fewest sacks in the league, and a big part of that is because he's the left tackle. He has been dominant at times over the course of his career and probably doesn't get the due he deserves as a big-time quality left tackle. So he's nominee number 1.
You already know we got to put Dion Dawkins up there at number 1. And number 2, I'm going to go with my buddy Creed Humphrey, the center for the Kansas City Chiefs. I was there during his rookie year, an absolute badass. Usually you do a little hazing to rookies. I remember I went to go haze Creed Humphrey. He hemmed me up by my shirt. He said, I'm not the guy that you haze. And I knew from day one,
really?
Creed Humphrey was a bad boy. Fantastic center, tone setter for this offensive line. He's the guy that Andy Heck calls on the night before games to see if he's got anything extra he wants to tell the boys before they take the field. I love Creed Humphrey. He deserves all the credit, accolades, and wins that he's had. Love Creed Humphrey.
And the next guy is a guy you also know very well, Lane Johnson, the right tackle for the Philadelphia Eagles. Outstanding for a long period of time. All you got to do is look at the Eagles when he's not in the lineup. When Lane Johnson isn't in the lineup, they're an entirely different offense. He dominates. Look, the right tackle position used to be a position they'd say wasn't the glamour spot. It was always the left tackle spot. Well, now the right tackle spot is also very glamorous because you have a lot of pass rushers now who rush from that side of the field. So I do think Lane Johnson, big-time performer, and the Eagles' offense changes when he's not on the field, and that tells you a lot about an offensive tackle.
Lane Johnson is the class of the right tackles. He is, in my opinion, the best offensive lineman in the National Football League. He'll go down as one of the best to ever do it, and you're going to see him do his thing in the Super Bowl. The next guy I've got on the list is not in the Super Bowl. He was not in the playoffs, nearly in the playoffs. Chris Lindstrom, one of the best run and pass guys on the interior part of the offensive line, perfectly tailor-made to accomplish what the Atlanta Falcons are trying to accomplish. Run first, set up play action. He's violent, he's physical. And my favorite part about Chris Lindstrom's game is his ability to get second-level defenders on the ground with cut blocks, chop blocks. It's a lost art, Pete, but he is a guy that makes you think about coming into his zip code every single play.
Yeah, and a tough physical mauler. And you look at the right side of their line, they're both pretty maulers, but he's also improved the pass protection and big pass protector in the last couple of years as well. Let's go to another guy, right guard, Quinn Meinerz. I mean, when you look at Quinn Meinerz of the Denver Broncos,
you say, what the hell?
He's a mauler. You look at him and you go, oh my gosh, if you looked up guard, old school guard, that's him right there.
Yep.
You look him up. He's a mauler in the run game. And he's also really improved in pass protection. Coming from small school, you wondered how he would adjust in pass protection. He's improved greatly. He's a big part of what they want to do in terms of the run game, but he's also improved the pass protection, as you can see from those numbers there.
Yeah, I mean, those are astronomical numbers. And this guy came out of a small school. He kicked ass at the All-Star game, and every opportunity he had to turn heads pre-draft. Obviously, he lands in Denver, and he's been awesome for the Denver Broncos. The next guy we're going to talk about is an Oregon Duck, a Detroit Lion, and I feel like right there with Lane Johnson as a tops in the league at the offensive tackle position on the right-hand side of the offense. It's Penei Sewell. When we talk about guys like Trent Williams, they get the play started on their side. They can cut off anything on the backside. Shoot, you can throw them the football if you wanted to. That's exactly what Penei Sewell is for the Detroit Lions, an absolute tone setter, ass kicker. You see him out front here for this offense. That's Amon-Ra St. Brown following him. He finishes guys. He's exactly what Dan Campbell wants as an archetype for an offensive lineman, particularly an offensive tackle. You need 2 yards. You need 4 yards. Go follow that big buck right up in there for the first down, because he is going to move his guy against his will.
That right side of the line with Zeitler and Penei Sewell, they were so physical over there. But he's another guy that has feet like a ballerina, too. I mean, he can move those feet. Impressive player, and he's, right there with Lane Johnson as the 2 best right tackles in the league.
Okay, the next guy, Joe Thuney.
I mean, I'll let you talk. That's your guy, man.
So Joe Thuney got signed to the Kansas City Chiefs the same day that I got signed to the Kansas City Chiefs. And I'll never forget, I sat down and had a beer with him in the hotel. And we were so excited for the opportunity to go protect Patrick Mahomes. Obviously, I got injured, didn't end up protecting Patrick. But now he has flourished into the star. And he was an absolute stud in New England. And he got to play with my older brother, and Chris loved him. But when I got to hang out with this guy, he plays chess in the locker room. He's even keel. He is just like this all the time, and it carries over to on the field. He played the guard position at an all-pro level. They had a need at left tackle midway through the season. Things weren't working out with Wanye Morris, Kingsley Suamataia, so they bump out Joe Thuney to the left tackle spot, and he has been nails for this offense. And I think that was the biggest reason why the Kansas City Chiefs were able to maintain and progress offensively, because of Joe Thuney. So smart, so technically sound. One of these guys that everything just looks boring with.
Did you see Greg Rousseau making plays last week? I didn't see him at all.
Mute.
Yeah, I mean, give credit to Joe Thuney for making that transition. He is an all-pro guard. In fact, I voted for
Garrett,
I voted for him.
Hunter, all these guys.
I voted for him as my left guard on my all-pro team. Now he's moved out to tackle and been just as good. That tells you how talented he is as an offensive lineman.
J.J. Watt made, I think it was Pro Bowl or All-Pro at 2 different positions, defensive tackle, defensive end. I think it's unprecedented to have an offensive lineman make it at 2 positions, but there's a first for everything, and Joe Thuney has made his case to be a 2-position All-Pro this season with the Kansas City Chiefs.
But one of the reasons he wouldn't be an All-Pro left tackle is the guy we're going to talk about next.
Yep.
Tristan Wirfs is amazing at left tackle for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, if you're Baker Mayfield, you're that offense, and you get to take your snaps, and you know that your blind side is being protected by that guy, Tristan Wirfs, who moved from right tackle. Remember, he was an All-Pro right tackle, made the move to left tackle, said he had to adjust a little bit, wasn't so comfortable early on, but he has developed into I think he's the best left tackle in the National Football League.
Yeah, he's unbelievable, and really brings to life that phrase we often hear about athletic offensive linemen, a dancing bear. This guy is actually a dancing bear. 0 sacks allowed. Obviously, the pass protection is his forte, but Liam Cohen was able to adjust this offense to help showcase some of his strengths in the run game, double teams, point of attack. He is an absolute monster. I think this is a really good list, and I think it's definitely necessary for us to talk about Tristan Wirfs.
Of all the linemen in this group, the one that looks like a square is Tristan Wirfs.
Yep.
When you see him, he's just like a physically imposing big man. They're all big men, but he's a physically
He's built like Bowser from Mario. It's just like, you know, big enough, but athletic enough, scary enough. Tristan Wirfs. That's a great list.
It's a great group, and we left off some guys because we can only put so many on here. But the offensive linemen, it's time you got your due. And Chris, these are our finalists, and we're going to figure out who the best of the group is for 2024.
Yeah, we're going to let people vote on this. Correct?
Yes, we are.
Okay, we'll let you know how to do that at a later date, but fans will be able to vote on this along with Pete and Kyle and some of our CBS Sports panelists. Those are the finalists right there, and we asked Todd Furman, our Vegas line setter, to give us the odds on who's going to win this thing. Lane Johnson is the favorite. What do you guys think about that?
Well, I mean, you could make a strong case for Lane Johnson. I think the top three and Creed Humphrey, I think you could make a case for all four of those guys.
I think Todd Furman has a good odds set on this thing. Lane Johnson is probably your smart pick.
I love how you tried to bully rookie Creed Humphrey, and he's like, you're not going to bully me. I'm going to bully you.
Yeah, he was like, I am the one who knocks.